All right, I thought this could be a fun idea for a mock draft. So, a lot of times you'll see like content creators like get someone else involved, and kind of one person picks one pick, the next person picks the next pick, and I'll do that on the podcast of Kyle at a certain, that's kind of our last podcast before the draft. However, I thought this could be kind of an interesting way to simulate it a little bit I'm going to just pick the NFC teams. The PFF draft simulator is going to pick the AFC teams. So I'm kind of going to add some randomness because I've given kind of my what I would do, but what if things get a little bit haywire? So this is going to be what I would do in these scenarios if I was controlling the NFC teams. So let's get into it, because there are going to be, I think some interesting things to talk about. NFC does seem to have a lot of the higher picks, so we'll get into it. Caleb Williams is going to be number 1, and Drake May is going to be number 2. I think that, kind of goes without saying a little bit. It's usually how I'm going to do things. Jaden Daniels does go at number 3. So for me, for the Cardinals, again, so far, kind of right on track. Marvin Harrison. Romeo Odunze goes at number 5. Okay, well, this is part of what makes this interesting. As for me, for the Giants, I'm constantly thinking about what do you do? Is it Odunze or is it Joe Alt? Well, now Malik Neighbors is on the board. So for me, I think Malik Neighbors is the guy. I think he's the one. I think Giants fans would be very happy with Malik Neighbors, who I think is easily number 2, wide receiver number 2 in his draft class. So not sure about that move by the Chargers. I'm not sure what you guys are doing over there, but Giants fans will happily make make that selection. Now we have the Falcons, who are an interesting team. I'm going to give him the next highest on my board, which I know isn't a pick a lot of people would love, I don't think, but he's someone who I really like. I'm going to go Byron Murphy at number 8. I think he's an underrated player. And number 9 might be another one that people are going to say is even more of a crazy hot take, but it's a player I like. Like, I think Newton's a really good player, and PFF agrees. They have him this high as well. So I think that's where I would lean there. He's the next highest on my board, so that's where I'm going. The Jets do not take Brock Bowers. They go Dallas Turner, which is interesting. So now for the Vikings, in the past, I've given them quarterbacks here. This is kind of where I've started the quarterback run a little bit, but I kind of think I would rather maybe just do we tank a year? Do we trade back? I wasn't really planning on doing trades. I suppose I could do a trade if there's a team that I think would really want a Brock Bowers in this spot, but who is that team? You know what? We have the 2 first-round picks. Let me just get Brock Bowers here at number 11. We'll get a quarterback later on. J.J. McCarthy and Quinyon Mitchell go to next 2 picks. The Broncos get McCarthy. Raiders, Quinyon Mitchell. Now, pick 14 with the Saints. I keep doing this. I'm going to do it basically every time. Le'Veon Latu for the Saints. Terrion Arnold goes to the Colts. Makes sense. Not a terrible draft pick there. I really like Kool-Aid McKinstry. This is probably a bit too early for, I think, what most people would be willing to go for him. I think some people would say, hey, maybe go with a quarterback here. You could think about it. I'll go with Talise Fuaga here, though. I think he's a good player. Okay, couple offensive linemen, Graham Barton and J.C. Latham, go off the board here. So now for the Rams, what do they do in this situation? It's a very interesting spot for them. Again, people are going to say I'm just way too high on this player. Maybe I am, but I'm going to go Kool-Aid McKinstry. Big fan of him. I think he's great. So there we go. And if he sucks, you can all make fun of me, which is part of the fun of this channel, is you get to laugh at me when I say dumb things. Okay, couple more offensive linemen go. So offensive linemen dropping like flies here. The AFC getting a lot of offensive linemen, or maybe I'm just not selecting the ones I should. I don't know, but I think for the Eagles, I think I would want to go with a corner if I could. Now, I believe was Quinyon Mitchell already taken? Yeah, he was taken by the or was he taken? Let me double check that, because he's next highest on my board. Yeah, he's been taken. I forget by who, but Raiders. That's right, Raiders took him. So okay, well, that would have been a perfect scenario, perfect plan, I think. But now where do we go? I just thought of this, but here's a good one. What if I went with wide receiver? What if I went with Brian Thomas Jr.? That's an interesting one. It's a bit of a reach on my board, but it feels like every player that's higher on my board is not a position of need. So let me do that. And then for the Vikings, now I'm going to go with my number 3 quarterback, actually. I'm very high on Michael Penix Jr. Let me draft him here. So that way they get the kind of, really good prospect that falls to them. They get Brock Bowers and are still able to get a good quarterback prospect. And even if it's even if Penix isn't the guy, if it's someone else, I feel like you can get a good prospect in this area. So, don't panic and don't feel like you have to get a quarterback number 11, I think, for the Vikings. Now, number 24 for the, Cowboys. Let's see. Did Jackson Powers Johnson get taken? No, he's my pick. Yeah, that feels like a good one there. Then we have the Packers. Packers are another team that they're in a bit of an interesting situation. Their offensive line is listed as a need, but I really don't know if it is that much. And I think defensive line is definitely something they could go with. You know what? Let me go with a guy who I think I'm higher on than PFF is. This might be a bit of a hot take, but give me Chop Robinson. I know they have Lucas Van Ness and Rashawn Gary, but I thought Van Ness kind of him and Chop Robinson do very different things. And I think getting that kind of combination could actually make things a lot better than people realize. So I would be a fan of that. Now for Tampa Bay, they're in a bit of a tough spot as, I think they would have loved to have Chop Robinson. I don't love any of the corners here. I don't love any of the interior offensive linemen here. You could maybe talk me into Nate Wiggins. I think I'm just going to go with the highest player on my board he's gone already. So actually, I will go Nate Wiggins here. Let me, again, kind of hard to keep track when half your picks are going away quickly. But Nate Wiggins will be my pick for the Buccaneers, which I would like. I think that would be a good fit. Finally, the Cardinals, who should probably just go for best player available, I would think. I believe J.C. Latham was taken already, because when there was the run of tackles, the Bengals were the ones who got him. So, who's next on my board? Graham Barton, is he currently available? Okay, next on my board is Ennis Rakestraw Jr., who, again, I know a lot of people are not as high on, but he was next highest on my board, so I decided to go all the way down there. I had to pause for a second and make sure I, figure out who had already been drafted and all of that good stuff. But, yeah, the Lions are next on the list. I think they would love to go with a corner, but at the same time, or I think they would love to go with an edge rusher. I don't know if, Verse is good. I think that's what I do, actually. I think I go with edge rusher. Give me Verse at number 29, who I think kind of falls a little bit. Darius Robinson, edge rusher, goes to the Ravens at that point. So now for the 49ers, I think would love to go with an offensive lineman, but I don't know if I love any of the offensive. There were so many taken before. I don't know if I love that fit. So I don't know. They're in a very weird situation here. I might just go Cooper DeJean. Yeah, I go Cooper DeJean. That's what I do. And then who did the Chiefs get at 32 was a question as well. They ended up with Donnie Mitchell. Okay, that makes sense for them. So yeah, okay, kind of a fun exercise. But yeah, that's what I did. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.